I pulled a 10-speed apart at exactly 150,000 miles, and the first thing that failed wasn't a clutch pack. It was a $200 bushing that was never supposed to move, on its way to becoming an $11,000 problem if nobody had caught it. I've torn down more of these transmissions than I can count this year, and this is the first one I've walked through start to finish on camera, one part at a time, in the exact order things actually wear. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what fails first inside this transmission, second, third, and so on, and which of those 5 things you can still prevent on your own truck. This wasn't a neglected truck. Regular oil changes, no extreme towing abuse, a normal daily driver, which is exactly why what I found inside matters. Some of this wear was baked into the design before this truck ever left the factory. Some of it wasn't. First to go, the bushing that was never supposed to move at all. Pull the CDF drum out of any pre-late 2022 10R80, and this is usually the first thing worth checking before anything else. Inside that drum is a small aluminum bushing, press-fit in place with no retaining lip to hold it. And under enough heat cycling, it walks. Not far. A few millimeters is enough to start exposing fluid ports that are supposed to stay sealed. And once that happens, line pressure starts leaking exactly where the transmission needs it most. On this truck, the bushing had already started to shift. Not far enough yet to cause a hard failure, but far enough that a compression check on that circuit showed it losing ground. And it gets worse. This one has nothing to do with towing habits, driving style, or any of the settings this channel has already told you to fix. It's a design gap that exists from the day these earlier trucks left the factory, quietly waiting on heat cycles alone. Left unaddressed, it's the exact failure mode behind owners describing a transmission that slams into reverse cold, drops to neutral on its own, or loses second gear entirely. And one documented case of exactly this problem, caught too late, ran $11,000 out of pocket for a full transmission swap. Result, caught here, at this stage, an updated drum with a machined lip or a lower-cost aftermarket sleeve kit runs somewhere in the hundreds to low thousands, depending on how much of the transmission is already open. Caught after it fails completely, you're looking at a bill that starts around $5,000 and has run as high as $11,000 in the real world. That is the choice. And it's the one piece of this wear story that has nothing to do with how anyone drove this truck. Second, the 2 clutch packs doing more work than the other 8 combined. Here is where it gets interesting. Not every clutch pack in this transmission wears at the same rate, and it isn't close. 2 of them, the ones engineers labeled D and F, carry far more of the workload than the other 8. The D clutch is engaged in park, reverse, first, second, third, fourth, sixth, 7th, 8th, and 10th gear. It's doing something in almost every single gear this transmission has. The F clutch picks up reverse, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and it's specifically the clutch absorbing the load on a heavy throttle 3rd to 4th shift. Pull the friction material off those 2 packs at 150,000 miles, and it's visibly thinner than the other 8 every time. On this truck, the tell was already there before I opened anything. A faint RPM flare between 3rd and 4th gear, the exact symptom this specific friction material gives you right before it's fully worn. Result, friction material this worn gets replaced as part of a moderate rebuild, somewhere in the $1,800 to $3,500 range depending on what else is found in the same job. Ignore the flare for another 30,000 or 40,000 miles, and you're not looking at a clutch pack job anymore. You're looking at the same $4,000 to $7,000 range as a full rebuild. Because worn friction material doesn't fail quietly, it fails by taking the steels and the planetary gears next to it down with it. Now here's the part of this video that actually matters more than either part I've shown you so far. Everything from here forward is downstream damage. Parts that were built fine and are wearing out early because of what's already happened upstream. Hit subscribe now because the next 2 findings are the ones almost nobody expects, including most of the owners I talk to. Third, the rumble strip feeling that isn't your tires. This is where most people get it completely wrong. They feel a mild vibration somewhere between 35 and 55 miles an hour, cruising, light throttle, and they blame tires, alignment, or a wheel balance. On this transmission, that same feeling is very often torque converter clutch shutter. Worn friction material inside the converter itself, aggravated by fluid that's already carrying debris from the clutch where you just heard about, creating microscopic slip every time the converter locks up. Left unchecked, that shutter doesn't stay contained to the converter. It accelerates wear on the stator, the turbine, and eventually the same pump bushing you're about to hear about, one worn part quietly recruiting the parts around it. Result? A remanufactured torque converter alone runs $287 to $320 in parts. Replace it in the same visit as the clutch work you already need, and it's a rounding error on the bigger job. Ignore the rumble strip feeling for a year because you blamed your tires, and you've let one worn part start wearing out 3 more. That is the trade. Most owners never connect a highway vibration to a transmission at all, which is exactly how this specific piece of damage gets a full year's head start before anyone looks in the right place. That's exactly the kind of thing worth catching before it ever becomes a bigger bill, which is why the free 12-point inspection checklist in the description exists, so you know to actually check for a converter shutter instead of reaching for a tire shop first. And if you're the kind of owner trying to get this exact transmission to 200,000 miles instead of 150,000, the 5-year survival manual linked there walks through the full maintenance path that keeps wear from cascading like this in the first place. Fourth, the delay. Getting into gear that means the pump is already tired. Stay with me, because this next one is the easiest of the 5 to miss until it's already annoying you daily. A worn pump bushing shows up as a hesitation shifting out of park or reverse into drive, a beat longer than it should take for the truck to actually engage and start moving. It's a symptom of line pressure that's already lower than it should be, often because of everything upstream. The CDF drum bushing bleeding pressure, contaminated fluid from clutch wear working its way through the pump itself. On this truck, that delay was there. Subtle, maybe half a second, easy to explain away as just how this truck has always felt. It wasn't how it always felt. It was the 4th domino in a line that started with a $200 bushing. Result? Caught alongside the other work already being done, a pump rebuild adds a few $100s to a job that's already open. Caught on its own, years later, after it's contributed to a full failure, it's folded into the same rebuild or replace numbers as everything above it. That is the choice, and it's the one most owners write off as just an old truck, instead of a diagnosable symptom. Fifth, the one they replace every single time, on purpose. But don't stop there, because the last thing I found wasn't really a failure of its own. It was contamination. Fine metallic debris from everything worn upstream, the clutch material, the steels, the drum, circulates through this transmission and collects in the valve body. And once enough of it's in there, the valve body starts behaving out of spec regardless of how healthy it was to begin with. That's exactly why every rebuilder doing serious work on a 10R transmission replaces the valve body as a matter of course, not because it's usually broken on its own, but because it's downstream of everything that already is. Result: a valve body replaced proactively during a rebuild is already priced into that job. A valve body replaced on its own, reacting to symptoms instead of the cause, runs close to $1,200 and doesn't fix anything upstream still feeding it more debris. That is the last piece of this teardown, and it's the one that explains why chasing symptoms one at a time instead of understanding the order they happen in costs owners the most. 5 parts, 1 order, and every single one after the first is connected to the one before it. That's the real story a teardown tells that a symptom list never can. This transmission didn't fail all at once. It failed in sequence, starting with a $200 part, and every owner who caught it early somewhere along that chain paid a fraction of the owner who didn't. Comment your mileage and whether you felt any of these 5. The flare between 3rd and 4th, the rumble strip feeling, the hesitation into gear. I want to know how many of these 5 most of you have already felt without knowing what it actually was. Which of these 5 this truck's next 50,000 miles actually depends on? That's the next video, once I've got it back together and back on the road. Watch your own truck for the same 5 signs before then.